Thank you, Norbert, for joining us today. And I will introduce you, although you don't really require introducing, because everybody knows you. The filter that I want to apply when I talk about you today is the fact that we invited you as a private investor and chairman of several companies. We also asked you to come because of the fact that you are an LP, a GP, and a direct investor in funds and companies. Also, because the companies you chair span both the public market and the private market space. So we hope you can provide us with a 360 view. And last but not least, we are also multi-continental. So welcome, Norbert. Is there anything I should have said about introducing you?
No, thank you very much, Rasha. This was a very generous presentation of myself. Thank you for having me, and welcome to everybody who is joining this session.
Okay, Norbert. So my first question is about your daily work life as the chairman of multiple companies. I'm very curious to hear how you are dealing with the whole situation.
Well, I am exercising a number of different jobs, if you like. Foremost, as a non-executive chairman of international groups, my daily professional life is quite hectic at the moment. I try to keep in touch with the management teams at the headquarters, but also at the major operating units of these companies, which are spread all over the world. And so I start early morning with conference calls and video conferences with Asia, and then I finish late at night with the West Coast in the US. Now, what in these uncharted times where nobody has a model, this is an experience that nobody has ever had. We are really discovering the issues and the problems as we go. And this is clearly a situation where foremost you are concerned as a chairman about the health and the safety of your people, of your workforce. And therefore, I spend quite a bit of time with management listening to the extraordinary measures that have been taken all over the world to protect people, to allow home office work. And all this had to happen in a very, very short sort of period of time. You know, in the normal days, if you would ask your IT department to come up with something and you labeled it urgent, it would take 6 months to get anything done. I can assure you that now there is a burning platform everywhere in every company I'm involved with, where these guys have done just miracles to allow for people to work remotely. Now, at the same time, of course, this also increases the risk profile of these companies, because the bad guys clearly want to take this opportunity, and we see almost everywhere a significant increase of cyber attacks on a daily basis. So one of the things that companies definitely, amongst many, many others, that they definitely need to do is to make sure that they keep their assets protected and really look at the cyber security as a major issue.
Norbert, this leads me to my second question. What kind of contingency planning do you see happening around you? And do you make a difference between, let's say, a listed company like PayPal, not to name it, and private equity-backed companies like Lombard International, also not to name it?
Well, I think the issues at the core, if you like, are pretty much the same if you are a listed company or a privately owned company, what changes is the order of magnitude and then the geographical dispersion. In a multinational, you may have a footprint around the globe, and you have operations in various countries with different states of the virus as it has developed. And so you do not have one size fit all answer. You have to deal in a multinational, you have to deal with each and every market, with each and every country, with each and every company in a different way according to the local circumstances.
But do you see, sorry?
But when it comes to the contingency planning, I think all businesses, of course, need to watch very carefully their liquidity, their cash flows, and that is true for multinationals as well as for the local restaurant owner. Now, order of magnitude is very different, and so of course the issues are more complex in the multinational than for the small single operator. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You take a big company and one is PE backed, the other one is listed. There must be differences, or you think it's not to do with the immediacy? I mean,
well, I don't look at it that way. I look at what are the issues that are at hand, and I just mentioned cash flows. Of course, there are many others. How do you care about your people? How do you care about your clients? The most difficult, the biggest challenge is how do you reboot your activities after this? And the world will not be the same anymore. We will have to reinvent new models, and those companies and those groups that have smart ideas to do business differently. And I think we will learn a lot from this experience going forward.
That's my third question. What is the biggest opportunity lying ahead, and of course the biggest challenge you see for these businesses? And give us maybe an example or two. I know you don't like to speak with names, but makes it more real.
Well, I think the challenges, as I said, is to reboot the business after this in a large organization. Again, there is not one size fits all, and you will go back to normal, not the same day at the same hour all over the world. So this will be piecemeal, and you are looking at a huge puzzle with a lot of pieces that don't fit anymore, and so.
Better off, because you.
Pardon me, I didn't hear your question.
Do you think Asia is better off and starting earlier? That's what we start to see in the media.
Well, I think Asia has shown a certain way of handling this crisis in a very efficient and effective way. And yes, most likely Asia will be in the starting blocks earlier than the Western world.
Before we open to Q&A, I have a more personal question. What are you doing to your portfolio as an LP right now?
Nothing. I'm looking at things, but I will not make any decision right now. It's far too early. I get information and proposals and calls from advisors all over the place. But my decision for myself is to watch. It's premature to make any decision at this point of time. Maybe I'm missing opportunities, but I'd rather sit tight, watch the situation, and then make an educated decision when the time is right.
Okay, I have a question asking you to give us a bit of an overview of the businesses that you advise as a chairman in terms of geographies, maturity, and sectors. Are you able to provide a bit of an overview?
Yes, I can. I'm actually involved with companies in the United States, in the UK, in Europe, in the Middle East, in Latin America, and in China. And the businesses I am involved are mainly financial services or financial services at the intersection of technology.
And so you say it's the same problem from everywhere?
I'm saying the nature of the problems are the same. They change by geography. They change by industry, but you know, it's all about cash flow. It's all about clients and customers. It's all about your lenders. It's all about your people. It's all about how do you restart the business? And that is the same if you are a small or large company. So at the core, it's the same issues, but different order of magnitude.
Norbert, I have 3 more questions, so please very short answers if you don't mind, but everybody wants to know your opinion. What about Luxembourg in this whole mess? How do you rate the country's chances and challenges is the next question.
Well, I think that Luxembourg, as far as I can say, has managed this crisis in a pristine way. We don't have shortage in terms of hospital beds and equipment and so on and so forth. I think that the rescue package representing 15% of GDP is a great package. Now, of course, one has to judge this when the monies will flow. The difficulties with packages like this is always, would they be surrounded by too much bureaucracy so that people who need the help actually get it on a timely basis? I am optimistic about Luxembourg, and I think that Luxembourg will get out with a big check to pay, but Luxembourg will get out reasonably well.
Okay, 2 more questions. I'm rushing a bit. Do you think on this basis we should repatriate some critical industries from Asia?
That we should repatriate? I didn't hear that.
Let's say to produce goods in Europe versus Asia, because we outsource so much there.
Well, of course, those are opportunities, but these opportunities existed well before. This is a question of production cost, unit cost, and even more now than before. Companies have to watch very carefully their P&L. If they can produce something here at an equivalent price-quality equation than somewhere else, surely we should consider that. But our P&Ls will take such a hit that producing here at a significantly higher cost than what you have would probably not be a good idea.
You still believe in globalization? Last question, and then of course you have so much to say. We should have you back on this program if you want to, of course, because we had 100 people registered. So thank you for drawing so much attention. Last question concerns the changes in governance and the way boards are held. Do you think it's going to become a standard that now people do it virtually over the phone or video, or is it just in these times of crisis that it will happen? Because with your boards, I guess you travel to all the continents.
Well, I think that we will learn from this crisis that meetings can be done effectively using modern technology. I have become the world expert in video conferencing. I think I'm using week in, week out between 5 and 6 different systems. Yeah, I think that we will learn something to that extent. Now, on the other side, there are things that you just cannot do over a conference call or video conference. I believe that the touching point among human beings, that the body language, that coffee break you have, or that dinner or that lunch that you share or sandwich together. Those are very important moments in the social networking in a corporation, or in any body, so to say. So I think physical meetings will pick up again. However, we might just see that some meetings and some events can be done through technology as effective as otherwise.
Of your success, because I have more questions coming in. I will squeeze in one more, and sorry for the others, but if Norbert accepts, we'll have you back another time, maybe in May.
Sure.
It's about the recommendation from ECB, who asked the banks to suspend their dividends. Do you think other corporates should also suspend that?
Well, I think that every corporation, every board of directors will have to make an educated and wise decision, considering their cash flows, considering their liquidity, and considering their assessment of how they will come out. Now, the first quarters of many industries, many companies have been okay, but the second, the third will be a bloodbath. And so is it wise now to pay dividends? The French Minister of Economic Affairs has strongly recommended to the listed companies in France not to pay dividends. I am chairing one board where we made that same decision, and I'm chairing another board where we decided to pay a dividend. So
there's no one size fits all. So Norbert, no. 1 million question before we let you go. When does the confinement end in Luxembourg?
Raja, I wish I had my crystal ball. I wish I could say in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but I can't. You know, nobody knows this. What I see is that the number of daily increases in Luxembourg of people infected is regressing every day. And so we had a peak of 220, 230 or something. On Saturday, we were down to 119, and then over the weekend, it always drops. It dropped to 38, but that number isn't representative because over the weekend, I think there are less testing that are carried out. But the trend over 5 or 6 days has really shown a trend downwards. So this doesn't explain everything. This doesn't mean much, but at least in my book, it is a positive sign.
So a note of the end, because we have to wrap up. Any advice, any sentence, any magic word?
Well, I'm afraid there's no magic word. I think these are extremely difficult times. I think that what this has shown is also the strength of so many people who were in the shadows before and who have come out here as real leaders, crisis leaders. There is this movement of solidarity where private people are using their 3D printers to manufacture masks. We see people knitting mouse protection masks. And this movement of solidarity is something that is really moving me, at least. And so, you know, we will get better, I think, after this. The very difficult thing, this would be my last word, the very difficult thing that has to be decided one day is that, you know, generally in the Western world, 20% of the population is over 65 years. And when we look at the people that unfortunately have deceased, the far majority of those were people who had another sickness, and they were well over 70. So the big question that is a philosophical, an ethical, and a moral question is to protect 20% of the population can you confine the other 80% for a long period of time and ruin their lives, because the collateral damages of that might be far more significant than, unfortunately, regretfully, the people that will die from the virus or their other sicknesses.
Yeah, that's why we love having you, Norbert. Always, we call you the finance with the good heart and values. So don't change. Stay safe, and we'll have you back hopefully soon on this LPA webinar. And everybody who joined, thank you. Next guest will be on the 6th of April, Luc Frieden, and the 9th of April will be Nicolas Mackel, or maybe I mixed it up, but stay tuned. And Norbert, thank you so much. Great seeing you virtually.
Thank you, Raja. Thank you, Raja. Bye to everybody.